This man guarded a cave filled with priceless treasure. It was a mission given to him by Aladdin, but two thieves secretly dug a tunnel and slipped into the cave. The guard rushed to the entrance. He was ready to throw the intruders out, but there was one problem. He had completely forgotten the magic spell to open the door. While he struggled to remember it, Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck had already reached the treasure room. The moment Daffy saw the mountains of gold, his greed took over. He decided to keep everything for himself. Without hesitation, he attacked Bugs from behind. Bugs didn't even have time to react. He was buried in the ground. Daffy then dove into the mountain of treasure. He was already imagining a life of unlimited wealth. Meanwhile, the guard finally remembered the spell. He burst into the cave and caught Daffy red-handed. Daffy desperately tried to explain himself, but the guard wasn't listening. With one swing of his sword, he sliced the jewel right off Daffy's head. Realizing he was in serious trouble, Daffy took off running. He shamelessly begged Bugs for help. He even offered him one of the stolen gems, but Bugs turned him down without a second thought. When Daffy saw the guard chasing him with a sword, he quickly hid. Then he threw all the blame on Bugs. Bugs immediately jumped inside a magic lamp and pretended to be a genie. To his surprise, the guard actually believed it. He bowed respectfully and poured Bugs out of the lamp. Bugs asked what his wish was. Without hesitation, the guard said he wanted to become rich. Then he wanted to leave this cursed cave forever. Bugs instantly came up with a plan. He spun around and started dancing. Then he announced it, from this moment on, every piece of gold in this cave belongs to you. The guard was overwhelmed with joy. He dove straight into the mountain of treasure. While he was distracted, Bugs quietly slipped away. But Daffy still wasn't satisfied. He tried to steal one more diamond. The guard immediately chased after him. Once again, Daffy begged Bugs to save him. Bugs pretended to be the genie again. The guard fell for the trick and started climbing a rope. Bugs sliced the rope with one clean cut. The guard instantly disappeared from sight. Instead of thanking Bugs for saving him, Daffy became even greedier. He decided to haul away the rest of the treasure. Before long, he filled an entire cart with gold, but that still wasn't enough. He kept searching for more valuables. Soon he found a golden lamp. The moment he touched it, he accidentally awakened the real genie. The genie politely asked him what he wished for, but Daffy thought it was just another prank by Bugs. He immediately buried the genie in the dirt. The genie was furious. He unleashed a powerful spell and placed a terrible curse on Daffy. Meanwhile, Bugs had started a pearl farming business. Just then, a strange little creature crawled out of a hole. It ran over and hugged Bugs' giant pearl. That Daffy had been shrunk by the genie's curse because of his greed. Even after becoming that tiny, Daffy still hadn't learned his lesson. Bugs let out a helpless sigh. He closed the clam shell and decided to leave Daffy inside to think about his mistakes for the next 20 years. This rooster really knows how to live. It soaks in a 99-degree hot spring. It gets a full body massage from attendants. Even its meals are served by dedicated staff. Not long ago, the rooster walked into a luxurious spa. It casually stretched out its wings. Two little potatoes immediately rushed over. They respectfully helped it take off its chicken skin coat. Then the rooster slowly made its way to the hot spring. It tested the water with 1 foot first. Once it was satisfied, it leaned back and enjoyed the steaming bath. Next, a little radish dropped slices of ginger into the water. The ginger helped warm its body and flush out impurities. After soaking for half an hour, the rooster's skin became smooth and glossy. The attendants quickly stepped forward. They carefully dried it off. Then the rooster walked down a long hallway. It arrived at a large massage table. 2 chili peppers were already waiting. They sprinkled on a special blend of spices. Then they gave the rooster a relaxing massage. The rooster closed its eyes in pure comfort. It even rolled over so they could massage the other side. When the treatment was over, the massage table slowly lifted into the air. It transformed into a comfortable chair. The chair carried the rooster straight to the dining room. There a royal band performed just for it. It even had attendants feeding it by hand. After enjoying a huge meal, the rooster stepped onto a VIP elevator. It was taken directly to the sauna for a luxurious spa session. The vegetables were already waiting inside. As the temperature kept rising, the rooster happily danced around. It simply couldn't stop moving. Before long, its perfectly white skin slowly turned into a mouth-watering golden brown. With its head held high and chest out, the rooster proudly stepped onto a red carpet. The entire room erupted in cheers. It even struck a cool pose for the crowd. Finally, the rooster glided smoothly down the center lane. It landed perfectly on a giant serving platter. At that moment, it became a delicious roasted chicken that could make anyone's mouth water. And that's the secret to making the perfect roast chicken. Did you learn it? The man-eating flower swallowed a fly. A second later, a hat suddenly sprouted from its belly. Driven to keep evolving, it went on a non-stop fly-catching frenzy. As its body continued to mutate, it grew a pair of eyes and a razor-sharp beak. Eventually, it evolved into an eagle. But before it could enjoy its new form, another brand-new man-eating flower sprouted right beside it. The eagle immediately became hostile. The two flowers began fighting over every piece of food they could find. But the new flower was much faster. Every time the eagle locked onto a fly, the newcomer snatched it away first. No matter how hard the eagle tried, it couldn't stop its rival from eating. As it kept feeding, the new flower grew larger and larger. Eventually, it evolved into a frog. Furious, the eagle flew over and smacked the frog. It warned the frog to stay out of its territory, but the frog instantly inflated to 10 times its original size. It tried to scare the eagle away with its massive body. The eagle refused to back down. It used every ounce of strength to puff itself up just as large. Right then, a fly buzzed past. The eagle was about to dive in, but the frog swallowed it first. That was the last straw. The eagle instantly transformed into a crane, ready to swallow the frog whole. But in the blink of an eye, the frog evolved into a crocodile. From that moment on, the two man-eating flowers kept evolving. They transformed into one animal after another. Neither side was willing to give up. In the end they both became Tyrannosaurus Rexes, yet even then neither could defeat the other. One day, they both transformed into humans. They decided to sign a peace treaty and call a temporary truce, but it didn't last long. One of them suddenly tore up the agreement. Their true nature was exposed once again. They kept changing into different forms. Eventually they turned back into the eagle and the frog. The frog saw an opening and tried to swallow the eagle in one bite, but the next second, the eagle transformed into a gun. The frog countered by turning into a hammer. Not willing to lose, the eagle changed into a rock, hoping to crush its opponent. The fight broke out all over again. Then the eagle suggested settling everything with a game of rock, paper, scissors. The frog won, but before it could celebrate, the eagle suddenly turned into a pair of scissors. With one quick snip, it cut through the frog's root. The frog quickly withered away. Just then another fly came buzzing over. The eagle opened its mouth to catch it, but it suddenly realized it couldn't move. Moments later, it began to wither as well. It turned out, the two flowers had been sharing the exact same root all along. Did you figure it out? The girl had failed her driving test for 5 years, and today, she failed once again. Just then, a bank robber came sprinting out of the bank. He immediately spotted the girl's car. He grabbed the driving examiner and threw him out. The robber then forced the girl to drive away immediately. With no other choice, she started the engine, but he forgot the examiner was still wearing his seatbelt. The robber kept yelling at her to go faster, but there was a red light right ahead. With no time to think, the girl jerked the steering wheel. She pulled off a perfect drift through the turn. The examiner was deeply impressed. He immediately marked that section as a pass on the score sheet. As they sped through the streets, they quickly caught the police's attention. When the robber saw the police cars closing in, he pulled out his gun and opened fire. Thanks to the girl's incredible driving skills, the examiner managed to avoid every single bullet. The robber threw the gun away. Then he reached for the steering wheel. The two of them began fighting inside the car. During the struggle, the girl noticed a bag full of cash on the back seat. She suddenly came up with an idea. She cranked the air conditioner to full blast. Instantly, stacks of bills flew out the windows. The robber panicked. He desperately reached out to grab the money, but at that moment, the car suddenly spun out of control. As the car kept spinning, the girl noticed the examiner was still grading her driving. Determined to pass the test, she fought back and regained control of the steering wheel. Then she kicked the robber out of the car. A second later, he slammed into a street sign. Then he crashed into a large banner. The banner instantly turned into a makeshift parachute. It left him dangling helplessly in midair. The girl kept speeding toward the police station. The moment she saw it ahead, she couldn't hide her excitement. But just then, two cars suddenly blocked the road. The girl didn't hesitate. She slammed on the brakes. Then she executed a flawless parallel parking maneuver. The car stopped in the perfect position. In the end, the robber was captured by the police. After getting out of the car, the girl helped the examiner to safety. She stood nervously to one side, waiting for the test results. Finally, she passed her driving test. She jumped with excitement, but at that very moment, she suddenly realized she had forgotten to set the parking brake. A disastrous accident was about to unfold. The little lamb wanted to jump over the fence, but the next second, blood splattered all over its companions. From that moment on, everything spiraled out of control. It all started one day, when two shepherd brothers discovered the last patch of green grass on the meadow. Neither of them was willing to back down, but their lambs couldn't wait to play together. The two brothers tried everything to keep them apart, but every time they separated the lambs, they immediately ran back toward each other. With no other choice, the brothers built a wooden fence across the middle of the meadow. It completely divided the two flocks, but the lambs on both sides refused to settle down. They kept moving closer, staring at each other through the fence. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed across the field. One lamb had smashed straight through the wooden fence, but a split second later, it collapsed and passed out. Seeing this, the brothers reinforced the fence once again. They replaced the wooden boards with sharp barbed wire. One little lamb cautiously reached out to touch it. The sharp barbs immediately cut its nose. The brothers thought that would finally stop them. Instead, the lamb backed up a few steps. Then it sprinted forward. It launched itself toward the barbed wire. The other lambs watched in amazement, but it had badly overestimated itself. The next second, it was caught on the barbed wire. The sight terrified the two brothers, so they upgraded the barrier once again. This time, they built an enormous stone wall. Not long afterward, one lamb gently bumped into the wall. A small stone fell to the ground. That tiny crack filled it with hope. It charged the wall again with all its strength. The impact killed it instantly. The other lambs saw everything. They all went crazy, one after another. They slammed themselves into the wall. The two shepherds panicked. At this rate, every lamb would eventually die. So they both picked up a pair of scissors. They decided to mark their own flocks. Before long, the lambs on each side had completely different haircuts. The lambs happily bounced around the meadow. The two brothers finally breathed a sigh of relief. They thought the problem had finally been solved. But then, two lambs locked eyes. For the first time, they realized they looked different from each other. They slowly stepped back, lowered their heads, then charged at each other with everything they had. In the end, every single lamb was dead, but the two brothers still couldn't understand why everything ended that way.